Greetings. It is I, Susie Q. What's showing up in your field? What's lighting you up? What's illuminating all the goodness in your life? And what else are you creating in this very moment of now? So we just came off the holidays, right? The Christmas, the energies, all these different experiences with holidays, and I didn't really do much on Christmas, to be honest. I did go to a potluck up here in Arizona, Arizona Enlightenment Center, folks. And I got some really good feedback because some of these folks have been watching my Facebook Lives. I love going on Facebook Live because it's just as soon as it goes live and I can see my face, I'm like going, whoa, here we are. But I'm kind of going back to a different way of looking at things. And some of the feedback I got from that potluck on Christmas Day was to maybe explore a little bit more differently, about some of the experiences that I've had. And so, as a quantum healing hypnosis technique practitioner level two, I've had quite a few sessions with many beautiful people. And even before that, before I even got that certification, I was an Akashic reader for many years. And so I've got lots of details about that. And so I think the person, this beautiful medium by design, right, suggested that I go deeper and share some of these experiences that have been rich, amazing, and just really interesting and fascinating, right? And so I'd like to share one right now, and this is exactly just a typical Akashic record from myself. Okay, I do have permission to share some of the QHHT, but for right now, it seems like because I was sitting here for a while and a form of meditation and just kind of closing my eyes and going, okay, what am I supposed to say today? What am I supposed to say, or what am I supposed to do with this energy? And the NDE, the near death experience, came through. And I kept wanting to do something different, right? Because I'm like, I've talked about this before, but what's really neat is when we look at the NDE, the near death experience, right? So I'd like to share this, and this was something that happened to me, all right? So I'm happy to share it. So basically, what was happening during this experience with the records is that the energies were shifting so much so that I found myself kind of walking in a space where it was really, really kind of dark and gloomy and just all this like really kind of crazy space, right? It was like an evening, and there was a little bit of the moon that was up in the sky, and I was walking forward, and as I kept moving forward, there was a form of light, some sort of a light experience that was in front of me, right? And so as I was going through and walking towards the light, I was like, I've got to see what that light is, right? And then once I got a little bit closer and closer, then I could see that there were people that were on the ground. A lot of them, they were muddy. It was like there had been a big rain. For me, I felt dry and fine. I was walking, but most of the people were on the ground and they were kind of wallowing in this mud, right? It wasn't like a good old fashioned mud bath, but it was like, oh my God, these people were like, don't go. Because I kept saying, I'm just going to go because I was the only person that was walking to the light, right? And so it was really fascinating is that the more that I walked and they kept saying, don't go there, they're going to kill you. That's what they said. Um, but I just kept going to the light, and they were still all kind of like on the ground and scared of what they were getting ready to face, right? Or where they were going. So they stayed in that same place while I continued to keep going forward. What happened was for me in this NDE, this near death experience, this was probably back in September of 2015, right? And that's when I had my huge Kundalini awakening and all this different, had a lot of shifts and changes in my life at that time in 2015. Very profound and amazing. And it's been fully integrated too, thank God, right? And so as I go back into the NDE experience, so I started noticing that I was getting closer to that energy where there was light. And so what happened was, as I started kind of continue to walk forward, and as I moved forward to the light, I wasn't hearing their voices like, don't go, don't go, I just kept moving to the light. And all of a sudden, I went to this beautiful place that was really fascinating and beautiful. It was like a structure with columns, but the light was so saturating. It was like everything was saturating this light. but I could get some semblance of some structure. But when I looked up to see the top of that structure, I really couldn't see the top because I think it was a really large building or some sort of a structure. And then I started walking up some steps, right? I started walking to the steps. And as I walked towards these steps, I had this experience of like, I'm so curious. I want to know where that light is. I kept thinking, they said that they're going to come get us or something, or, it was so funny when it was outside, right? But then kept going. I'm like, I kind of want to see what that light is. I want to know. I want to see that light. So took the steps up, and then then it was a surface there where I could walk on, but everything was light, right? It was totally light. And I was still walking in my own way. And eventually I got to a place where I saw a window. And I thought, well, if I could go to that window and look out and see something that's showing me something, I think I really want to go there. And so that place where that window was, again, it was all saturated with light. Everything was light, pure, amazing kind of light energy that happened to me. And then a lot of times when I do my astral traveling or I do my traveling in other realms, is I always have some sort of an essence of, am I still here, right? Is it me and am I still here? And so at that point when I was looking out the window and all it was just beautiful light, it felt so good and everything. I felt so light and so wonderful and so pleased and happy that I found that window. But then I remembered that when I'm doing my traveling, I usually have something that will remind me that I still have a body. Okay. And so this is what I've been doing for many years, is like having some sort of a semblance of a human body, right? And so what it was I would always have a hand. And it may not be the hand that I have as Susie. I've had many lives. I've had many experiences as humans, right? And so, but I noticed on that one experience with all that beautiful light is I said, well, I'm going to just test and see, do I still have a body? And what happened was it was so amazing and so miraculous. But all of a sudden, I realized that there was nothing. There was nothing there. There was no more me. There was no more Susie, right? Because this was a Susie experience. But it was really fun, to just acknowledge, like, oh my God, I don't have a body, right? So every time I do my travel, across the different realms or in astral travel, I always have some sort of a body connection to know that I'm still here. But what was interesting when I found that I found that in that experience of being in that light, it was like I was like thinking, okay, I don't have a body, but I still have my personality. My personality is still here. My personality is still here. And once I was like looking at that too, like I can still remember those feelings and those emotions and that beautiful sense of love of that beautiful light. I just remember thinking that, gosh, I still have a personality. The thoughts that I'm thinking that still exist, although my body isn't here anymore, it was so fascinating. And I bet a lot of you might have had these kind of experiences. There's been a lot of near death experiencers that I've known, personally known. So it's really interesting when we look at going into that light. What does that mean? So I guess what I might say, and after that, once I had that experience with, I still have a personality, and I wasn't even worried about leaving people behind. I was just so fascinated by being saturated in that light. And I think each one of us right now, as we're moving forward in these frequencies that are so big and so amazing and so, oh my God, there's just so many beautiful things that are happening for us across the globe. A lot of times, too, people might say, well, I don't like it. And even for me, I'm like going, it's a strange time. But what I would have to say, moving from that kind of dream state or the NDE experience, is we all have opportunities to shine in the way that we are and to remember who we are, whether I have a body or not a body, right? That was back in 2015. Is that we have opportunities to make choices for our own self. What will light me up? What will give me joy? What will bring me happiness? For me, I've got kids and grandkids, and, I have the work that I do that I love. What are you creating in your field right now? What is illuminating? Something amazing that is so right for you. Can you step into something new? Can you maybe kind of go quantum? Can you go into the higher realms or these different spaces to just explore and learn a little bit more about this beautiful existence called life? A lot of us here, a lot of us are light beings. When we look at it, each one of us come in as beautiful, kind of just lights, just kind of sparks and sparks of light just kind of flowing into this planet. And here we are. So, as we're moving forward, it's almost New Year's for 2022, the new year. So, what might be creating in your life? What might you be desiring to do? And what is bringing you the most joy? The most joy and the most happiness. So, I think I'm complete. But if you have a friend that's ever had a near death experience, or if you have any questions about that, I'd be happy to talk with you about it and maybe share some more of the details. There was more there, but I thought that this might be a good thing to say today. So, sending you so much love and namaste.